Every once in a while, a story comes out of Iraq that makes you stop, think, and realize just how much is going on behind the scenes. And today, we're talking about one of those stories, the kind that not only affects the economy but the day-to-day lives of millions. If you've been following the journey of the Iraqi dinar, the budget, and the potential exchange rate changes, you're going to want to hear every word of this. It's looking more and more like they are not going to be paying the salaries in a way that would expose the new exchange rate, at least not right now. This development is frustrating for a lot of people who have been patiently waiting for any clear sign that the Central Bank of Iraq or the government is ready to reveal their hand. Many of us thought that perhaps the payment of salaries could be tied directly to showing the public and the markets the new value of the dinar. After all, salary disbursements are one of the most direct ways for the public to feel the impact of an exchange rate change. But unfortunately, the latest indications suggest that's not the path they're taking, at least not yet. Instead, the attention now turns to the budget, particularly Section 12(2)(c). That's where the next big reveal might happen. The idea is that by releasing or exposing certain elements of the budget, especially those tied to currency policy, Iraq could finally shed light on what's really going on with the exchange rate. The budget, after all, is where the government has to be transparent about spending, revenue, and the assumptions they are making about currency valuation. But for now, it seems like that process is moving slower than many would like. The sad part about this is that it leaves the citizens of Iraq still dealing with the same old reality, a currency that is worth far less than it should be and salaries that, in real terms, amount to just pennies. Under the leadership of Sudani, many Iraqis had hoped for stronger, faster action. They expected the reforms that have been discussed for years to finally start hitting the ground. They believed that a stronger dinar, combined with a responsible government budget, could start to change lives. But without exposing the exchange rate or delivering a budget that shows real value for the currency, the day-to-day struggles continue. Let's think about this from the perspective of the average Iraqi worker. You put in your hours, you contribute to your country's development, and you get paid, but the value of that payment has been eroded to the point where it barely covers your needs. Now imagine knowing that your government could take steps to change that, steps that might be ready to go, but are being held back for political or strategic reasons. That kind of frustration isn't just economic, it's emotional. It's about dignity, fairness, and the hope for a better future. Of course, from the leadership's perspective, there are always justifications. Timing is everything in economic policy. If they believe that exposing the new exchange rate too early could create instability, they will delay. If they think there are still internal systems that need to be aligned, banking, electronic payment platforms, international trade arrangements, they will hold back. The problem is, the longer they wait, the more the public loses confidence. And in economics, confidence is a currency all on its own. The budget is now the main stage for these developments. Section 12(2)(c) might not mean much to the average citizen at first glance, but for those who study the finer points of Iraqi finance, it could be the key that unlocks the next big shift. This section could contain the mechanisms or approvals needed to change the value of the dinar in an official, public way. If that's the case, then everyone watching the Iraqi economy, from international investors to local business owners, is going to be laser-focused on when and how that budget gets exposed. But until then, the situation feels like a waiting game. The government may be ready to pull the trigger on certain reforms, but without the political will to make the move, the gun stays holstered. Every day that passes without action is another day where the dinar stays undervalued and Iraqi citizens keep getting paid amounts that don't reflect the wealth and resources their country actually has. It's a tough reality. Iraq is not a poor country in terms of resources. It has oil, agriculture, trade potential, and a young population ready to work. But without a strong, fairly valued currency, much of that potential remains untapped. That's why so many people both inside Iraq and abroad are watching the dinar, the exchange rate, and the budget so closely. Some will say that the leadership is playing a longer game, that they're waiting for the perfect moment when the global and regional environment aligns with Iraq's internal readiness. That could be true. But for the average citizen, each month that goes by without change feels like another broken promise. And when the government starts talking about budget sections instead of real, immediate action, it can sound like more political maneuvering rather than tangible reform. Still, it's important to remember that changes like this don't happen in isolation. An exchange rate shift isn't just a decision on paper. It affects imports, exports, contracts, debt obligations, and foreign investment. If it's done wrong, it can create chaos. So, in that sense, maybe the delay is about ensuring stability. But for those holding on to the hope of a stronger dinar, that's called comfort. The real question is, how much longer can they wait before the cost of delay outweighs the benefits of preparation? There's no easy answer, but one thing is certain: when they do finally make the move, it will send ripples through the entire Iraqi economy and beyond. Salaries, budgets, trade, everything will feel the impact. And for many, that moment can't come soon enough. For now, we watch, we wait, and we keep analyzing every hint, every policy move, every budget detail. Because somewhere in those details lies the key to Iraq's economic future. Whether that future comes in weeks, months, or longer is still uncertain. But one thing's for sure: the citizens of Iraq deserve more than pennies, and the day that changes will be a day worth remembering. That's the latest breakdown from Iraqi Dinar Updates. If you want to stay informed about every twist and turn in Iraq's economic story, from the exchange rate battles to budget revelations, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. On this channel, we cut through the noise, separate fact from rumor, and bring you the real picture so you can make informed decisions. Whether you're an investor, a trader, or just someone passionate about Iraq's future, this is the place to be. Don't just follow the news, understand it. Subscribe today and join our growing community at Iraqi Dinar Updates.